What's up, and welcome back to another live stream with Gizmo Slip Tech. We're doing a Top Deals Black Friday on November 21st. This is going to be exciting. I've got, I don't know how many laptops, like about 40, 50 laptops that we're going to be doing today. And there's a lot of really good deals, some pretty mediocre deals as well. And I tried to filter out most of the mediocre deals already. So we're just getting to the mostly like C tier and up deals only. And there's just so many of them. So we're just gonna dive into it. And I'm gonna make sure that the live stream is working before we get too deep into it. But other than that, we're going to just go ham and start ranking these in my tier list that I've got set up here. Hopefully this goes well. This is the first time trying to do a tier list live, so it will be a fun adventure. But if we are good, if the live stream's coming through, then we'll go on to it. But other than okay, looks like it's good to go. I will try to check chat every now and then, but I'll probably in the midst of ranking these pretty intensely. So, but I want your feedback too. All right, so the first laptop we have for today is going to be the HP Victus 15 with the Ryzen 7 7745HS with an RTX 4050. And this is 16 gigs of DDR5, 5600, 512 gig SSD, which is okay for that price, and a full HD 144 Hz 300 nits display. That's actually not too bad for such a low price. So I believe this is an 8-core 16-thread CPU. And a 4050, of course, can play full HD games quite well, pretty much all of them on Ultra, and it's $549, so that's kind of insane. So if your budget is super, super tight and limited, then this is gonna be a good option for you potentially. Now this, my laptop ranking list is linked in the description. It's way down there, or maybe it's at the top, I can't remember. It's in the link, it's in the description, but all of these deals are located at the very top of the list, and you can pull them up just by clicking the little button on them, clicking on them, and you get all more details about each of these laptops. So we're gonna quickly look at some screenshots. You got a nice number pad on here. The build quality, I'd say, is probably mediocre on here. Got a full-size SD card slot, that's really nice. Some decent ports and some decent power on this. So, I mean, I think it's a pretty dang good deal, but I wouldn't say it's S tier. I'm thinking A tier for this, but if your budget is super limited, then the Victus is a great option. All right, so next up, we have the Acer Nitro V16 AI. This has a Ryzen 5 240. I think that's a 6-core, 12-thread, with an RTX 5050 though. And the key here, 5050 has 8 gigs of VRAM, which I think is super important for future-proofing yourself at 1080p. I think 12 gigs of VRAM is very important for future-proofing yourself at QHD gaming, at least for like 3 to 4 or 5 years, you know, if you don't want to play on low settings or have occasional games that are just very, very minimally playable. So let's take a look at this Nitro V16 in a little more detail. $629, full HD plus, 180 hertz, so nice upgrade to the screen, and it's 400 nits, 100% sRGB. I mean, that is super baller for the money. The weak point here is obviously the CPU, and let me just Google this to just make sure that this is a 6-core, 12-thread. Yeah, 6-core, 12-thread, so less cores and threads, but at the 5050, and it's enough cores and threads to play games, so yeah, I mean, that's phenomenal. I would say that is a I don't know if that's S tier. I think it's gonna be an S tier deal just because it's such low budget. But I don't think it's gonna be a top tier S tier. I think it's gonna be like a mid tier S tier. So we're gonna put this up here. All right, let's go ahead and open up the lock. 15 RTX 5050, 12 to 16 gigs DDR5 4800. 512 gig SSD and a full HD 144 Hz 300 nits. Let's go and just swap over to here. We can get a little more details on this. So $649, $20 more, but you're getting, I think, a nice CPU upgrade here. Let me just, I wanted to search in Brave for this. All right, so this processor is similar to a previous gen i7, I think. So 6 performance cores, 4 efficiency cores, 10 total, and that's going to be a nice processor for the price. And the screen, though, is not as good as that Acer that we just looked at. So Full HD 144 Hz, 300 nits, 100% sRGB still is very good. And you know, Lock has advanced Optimus and G-Sync support at the low price point. I don't know if the Acer has that. A bit slower on the memory, and it's a 16:9 aspect ratio display as well, and a lower hertz refresh rate, and like I said, lower nits gamut. So I would probably still go with the Acer, especially since it's cheaper, but this is still very, very good. Be sure to use the coupon Extra5 if it's still valid. I'm not sure, but the links should have taken you places, the right places. We just updated all the links here. So chat, where do you think this one should be slotted in? Jojo says, yo, how have you been? I've been doing great. Best laptop for 2000. Derek Lee, we'll get there. Gender says, sup dude, which one would you get for yourself right now if you needed? If I was on a medium budget for around 2000, I'm pretty sure the Zephyrus G14 or G16 is really good. Or if you're okay with a thicker laptop, going for the Strix G16 with the 8940HX. It's all on the list. We're gonna get there. You just gotta be patient, okay? We got a lot of laptops to go over, and I don't wanna get out of order. So let's rank this Lock 15. I think this Lock 15 is probably also either A or S tier. I feel like it's maybe the end of S tier or the beginning of A. You know, like it's definitely better than the HP Victus. I'm gonna call it A for now, but we may upgrade that later on down the line. All right, so next we have a few different Lock models here. The 17 inchers. 17 inchers and 18 inchers are more expensive typically. So this one almost has the exact same specs, but it's a 17 inch instead of a 15 inch. So if you want a big screen device, this one may be the better option for you. 16:9 aspect ratio, and you get that upgraded processor, a 5050, nice high power limit, $699. I'm just gonna put it right next to our other Lock because it's basically a $50 upgrade for a bigger screen, which is not bad at all. Then you get the i7 13650HX, which is another upgrade for the Lock 15. And this one has a 5060, so we're jumping up to $899 price point. So not much between the $700 and $900 price point right now, but that's just today. Like there will be more deals in the coming days, but $899 for a 15 inch, and this is one of the cheapest, highest quality 5060s that money can buy. But a 5050 is not too far behind a 5060 this year because they both have 8 gigs of VRAM. And I don't know where to rank this one. Let's see the difference between the 14650 and the 614. I just want to see the core difference primarily, if there's a difference in cores. Yeah, so you get 4 more cores with the 13650HX. So a pretty nice upgrade on the CPU front with this next Lock. And here's the Lock 17. All right, so there's the Lock 17. And let's jump to the Lock 15. And yeah, the ports on this Lock are just kind of minimal, but overall, it's still decent enough ports. Okay, 300 nits, 100% sRGB, upgraded CPU, and an upgraded GPU to the 5060. It's about 15% faster than a 5050. I think if you're after maximum money savings, then going for the 5050 at $650 is totally fine, good choice, especially since they have the same VRAM. But for $899, this is like probably the best 5060 that you can get. So this is probably S tier level right here. So let's pop over here and drop into the S tier rank. I think we're gonna put it right behind that Acer. All right, so next up We have another Acer V16. Lenovo and Acer are like the king of the super budget laptops, mainly because they put in good screens with decent power limits and put them at really low prices. Like that's like the combination right here for them. So, all right, next up is this Acer Nitro V16, 16 by 10 aspect ratio. Again, 400 nits display, 180 hertz refresh rate is really nice upgrade. But when you compare this to the cheaper one at the 5050 is just, it's worth saving the money and going for the 5050 if you're after the best bang for the buck. Though you do get 32 gigs of RAM upgrade, and RAM is getting really expensive. So maybe this is actually worth the upgrade, because 32 gig laptops may end up costing like $200 more than a 16 gig laptop in the coming year. So might be a great choice if you really need a 32 gig laptop. $999, and for this display quality, it's pretty dang good. But they're obviously, if you go just a little bit higher in price, I feel like there's better options. So it's like you like undershoot to like 650, 700, or you overshoot to like 1100, 1200, and you can just get a lot better laptop than this one. So with that said, I think this is going to go B tier because of that. You know, like it's all about value for your money when you're doing these tier lists, and I think this is a B tier choice. All right, let me check chat and see what's up. Gender says, I believe the 17-inch is something no one needs, to be honest. We either need 16 for portability or 18. Well, the thing is, 15 and 17 is the old screen size and chassis size, so it's just easier and cheaper for companies to produce it so they can sell it cheaper. What are the ports on the Acer looking like? Let's take a look at the ports. Two USB-A 3.2s on the right side there. And there's the ports there. On the left side, we're looking at the Kensington lock, the Ethernet, USB-A, a micro SD card. Is there any USB-Cs? I don't know. I got hands-on with this at CES. And is there any ports on the back? There is ports on the back, including a USB-C and an HDMI, and the power port's also on the back. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty dang decent. And I've pretty much got hands-on with almost every single laptop on the list because of going to CES and Computex. They pretty much bring all those laptops out. There's only a couple of these laptops that I haven't actually been hands-on with, and it's just a slightly different config compared to what I've been hands-on with or what I've reviewed last year, because reviewing, like, in the last 2 years, I've reviewed over 100 laptops. So, okay, so let's go on to our next laptop. We got the Legion 5 with the 7260 RTX 5060, 16 gigs of DDR5 5600, and a QHD 165 hertz OLED. So this is our first OLED, busting in at $999. And this is such a better buy compared to that Acer, because an OLED is such a huge upgrade, okay? And it's QHD plus, and it's a Legion 5. So the build quality will probably be better than that Legion as well, or I would say it is better, though it's not as good as the Pro. The Pro series is a big upgrade. Now, this one, since it's the cheapest OLED and it's a 5060 and it's $999, and the Ryzen 7 260, I believe, is an 8-core, 16-thread CPU, we're going to pop this into S tier, at the top of S tier so far. And we can take a little bit closer look here at some photos. Great keyboard layout. Trackpad's going to be plastic. USB-A 3.2s, webcam switch off button, headphone toggle, 2 USB-Cs, probably one's at least a 3.2 with DisplayPort. Not sure if it has power delivery or not, but another USB-A and an Ethernet port. And then on the rear, there is an HDMI, and I believe that's the power plug. So a lot of flexibility on the ports, and it's got the OLED, and it's got a pretty decent CPU as well. So, I mean, bam, it's really nice. Next laptop is going to be the Asus TUF F16 with the 14th Gen 650HX. Very nice CPU, RTX 5050, and this is a 16 gig laptop with a full HD 165 hertz, 100% sRGB. Now, the main reason to consider the Tough is if you like an Asus as a brand. And, you know, Asus Tough laptops, actually I think I have this, maybe even this exact laptop sitting on the rack behind me, I think right down there. Haven't reviewed it yet, it's on the to-do list, but it's gonna be phenomenal value for your money, especially on the CPU front. But the GPU, it's only a 50-50, and the screen is not as good as that Legion 5 OLED. So I'm leaning towards ranking this certainly lower than the Legion 5. And then for the build quality, I think the Tough has generally very good build quality, and they're also designed to be a little more drop and durable. Like they supposedly test them to durability standards that are like mil spec, which means it can take a little rough and tumble. So it's great for students, better for kids, I think, than some of the less built laptops. But from a specs perspective, this is not as nice as the Legion 5. Maybe CPU is better here, but the other aspects are better on that Legion. So I'm gonna put this Tough probably in A tier. It's very good, but I would say it could be S tier if you're buying it for a kid or maybe a college student. But I still think that Legion 5 is the better option there. Okay, so next up we have the Alienware 16 Aurora. Now this is one I have not been hands-on with. QHD 120 hertz here, 300 hertz, or is that 300, sorry, 120 hertz, 300 nits. Let's just go over to the laptop here. I've heard really good things about this one from other reviewers. Seems like a very nice bang for the buck overall. 300 nits, 100% sRGB, so decent, but it's a 1 terabyte SSD, nice upgrade there. Intel Ultra 7 248, so nice basic CPU. I dislike the way the arrow keys here are done. I'd be pressing the wrong arrow key all the time, but at least you got a number pad. And the ports, no ports on the right side. You got a USB-A, a headphone combo jack, network port, fan exhaust on the left. On the rear, 2 USB-Cs, and USB-A, and HDMI, and the power plug. And I've heard the build quality is decent. So, I mean, I think this is a pretty good buy. QHD display is also really nice. And it's a 5060. So, I mean, I would give it, like, and this one's one, I'm not an expert on this laptop as much as I would want to be, but I'm thinking this is at least probably in the mid-range A tier is where I'm thinking this is gonna land. All right, next up, HP Omen Intel Core Ultra 7 255 with a RTX 5060, 16 gigs of DDR5, 5600, 1 terabyte SSD, and a full HD 300 nits. So I mean, this is a good CPU, good GPU, good power limit. 16 gigs of RAM is not as good. 1 terabyte SSD is great, but it's only a full HD plus, and it's 144 hertz, 300 nits. I mean, it's not that great of a deal compared to some of these other ones that we're looking at. So, and I think the build quality on the Omen 16 in particular is not terrible, but I think the hinges could be improved, and durability long term could be a lot better. Like, I think the Tough has got to be a lot better along longevity for build quality, or the Legion 5 would also be better. So I'm putting this in the C tier. I just don't see it competing well with these other deals right now. It needs to be cheaper. It needs to be $899 to move it up to maybe B or A tier. Okay, HP Omen Slim 16 Slim. Intel Core Ultra 7 255H, same processor, same GPU. A little bit stepped up. Oh yeah, and this is only a 63% sRGB display. Yeah, maybe that should be an F tier. I don't know. That's pretty bad. Okay, so this one has an upgraded display, 400 nits, 100% sRGB, and that's nice. But it's a weaker, smaller size SSD. And it's only $1049, so it's $50 more. That's just such an inferior deal, again, compared to these other ones. This is gonna go down into C. I think this is gonna go down to F tier, so just don't buy that one. This one's slightly better because it has the better screen. let's go to the Gigabyte Aero X16. Ryzen AI 7 350, so good CPU. RTX 5060, but it's only 85 watts graphics, which kind of sucks because it's also going to probably actually be more like 65 or something like that when you factor in dynamic boost. I believe this is USB-C power only, and it was not a laptop that I was very enthused about when I checked it out at Computex. I told Gigabyte they need to work on their power limits directly to their product manager, and that's probably why they haven't sent me any review units this year so far, because I basically gave them negative reviews on all of their products at Computex in front of their marketing manager and their product manager. But this one has a good price for a QHD Plus 165 Hz, 400 nits, so it's a good display. And the other thing is the Aero is very lightweight, and it's a 16-inch chassis while still being just slightly over 4 pounds. So if you're looking for a lightweight 16-inch and you're okay with it not having that high of a power limit, not the highest level of performance, got the Ryzen AI 7 350. It's not terrible, but it's pretty good. And it's gonna be able to game pretty well, but 8 gigs of VRAM at a QHD screen, 1049, it's pretty good value. It's pretty good value. I think this one's recommendable, but it's not S tier, it's probably A tier, and it's probably mid A tier. But mainly if you're looking for portability. Like if you're portability focused, that's a decent one for someone's portable 16-inch on a budget. All right, let me check chat. I think a 5050, 5060 range, one of the best CPUs would be the Ryzen 7 350. What are the ports? Okay. Jojo says, watching intently, I'm currently running off a 3060 laptop. Ah, yeah. Ryzen 350 is known for efficiency, but power when needed. Legion 7i, I think bigger chassis equal better cooling. Guys, Legion 7 or Zephyrus G16. So, Warzone, Marvel Rivals, Dota 2, and Music. I think the Zephyrus G16 is going to be your better bet. If you're talking Legion 7, well, they're both really good. They're both really good, and I think both are recommendable. But I think the G16 would edge out the Legion 7i in that situation. Mainly because the Legion 7i cannot do a 5070 Ti or 5080 or 5090, and the G16 can. Now, if you're only going for a 5050, 5060, or 5070, then the Legion 7i is a pretty reasonable choice. They're more sauce. All right, we're going to get to those, though. Well, the Legion 7 wasn't on sale so far, but the Zephyrus G16 is further down the list here. So there is a sale on that one. Acer Nitro V16. Oh, by the way, everyone, I want to mention, this means a lot to me. If you find this video helpful, there are links in the video description or on the laptop list. There's links like on every single listing. If this video helps you choose a laptop, using those links with a trackable browser will help support me and my team. And yes, I do pay people a lot of money to manage that list, like per hour, like a lot. So, and it's a lot of my time as well. So if you value me as a tech reviewer, that's one way you can show some appreciation by using those links and being very purposeful about it. Hello, little buddy. Hi. Okay, you're gonna review some stuff with us? All right, good boy. All right, good job. Okay, Acer Nitro V16S AI. Ryzen 7 260, RTX 5060, 32 gigs of RAM. So again, value your RAM. 32 gigs is a nice upgrade right now because RAM is so expensive. 1 terabyte SSD and a QHD 180 Hz 400 nits display. So very nice display. Let's take a closer look at this one. We're looking at $1099 price. The Acer Nitro V16S is, Rocky is grabbing the camera, so let me move the camera out of his range. He's a wild boy. Yeah, grab onto my hand. Give me some kicks. Good boy. Yeah, give me some kicks. That's fine. All right, RTX 5060, Ryzen 7 260, decent processor, good GPU, 32 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD is nice. QHD 180 hertz, 400 nits, 100% sRGB. So not the best for creators, good for gamers, and the Nitro V16S is also a little bit more portable, 4.63 pounds, so designed to be a little thinner, while still giving a good amount of GPU power. It's not going to be the max, though, for a 5060, so you can get more performance with other laptops if you wanted to switch it up to another laptop. And we did see an OLED display for less money. Hey, buddy, I'm going to have to put you away because I really got to focus. And if you can't stay still, then you're going to have to go hang out with Fern, okay? Thank you. He wants to hang out all the time, and I feel bad when I can't hang out with him, but I really got to focus on this. Okay, so I got hands-on with this one, and I do think this one's a nice laptop, good for the money, and certainly competitive, especially if it's available in your region or your area. Very thin, very portable. Overall, for the money, I'm thinking it's not even A tier though. Like compared to some of these other ones that have OLED screens or are just cheaper, oh, maybe it is A tier, but end of A tier because it's got 32 gigs of RAM. Yeah, probably. The 32 gigs of RAM is a big upgrade. So only 16 gigs of RAM here, but you're getting a 5070, so you're trading the RAM for the 5070. But the other specs are the same here. Another config of the V16S. Same price. So do you want like 12 to 15% more performance on the GPU with only 16 gigs of RAM and upgrade that RAM at a later time? I'm not sure if the RAM's upgradable on this one. I can't remember off the top of my head, but maybe. I'd have to watch my video again because it's been so long. But yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. QHD 180 hertz, 400 nits, 100% sRGB. We're going to pop this into the same A tier. I think it's a worthy A tier, but not like top deal that I could recommend. Legion 5i, i7 14700HX. All right, so very nice CPU. Nice upgrade. That's the best CPU we've seen so far. RTX 5060, 16 gigs of DDR5 5600, QHD 165 hertz OLED. So another $1,100 OLED with an upgraded CPU this time. This is good. This is probably another S tier because of the OLED and the upgraded CPU, and it's only $1,100. So it's like, do you want the downgraded CPU or do you want the upgraded CPU? These are the two Legion 5s that we were talking about, and yeah, so it's a $100 upgrade to get a massively better CPU from Intel. But almost everything else about it's the same. So those are definitely both S tier. All right, and let's take a closer look at that one. So here's the 5070 version of the V16S, and here's the Legion 5i, and this should be a 4-zone keyboard backlight, 2 USB-A 3.2s, headphone combo port, webcam switch off button, two USB 3s, an Ethernet port, another USB-A, so 5 total USBs, HDMI and the power, and full power on this, Advanced Optimus, G-Sync. It's good. This is definitely an S tier buy, one I can highly recommend if you're spending $1,100. Like, this is great. Oh crap. Okay. We're going to go over the Legion 5 one more time. All right, so the Legion 5i, i7 14700HX, RTX 5060, and 16 gigs DDR5 5600. QHD 165 hertz OLED, 500 nits, 100% DCI P3 color gamut. So this is an excellent content creator laptop. This is an excellent video gaming laptop. So it's an excellent content creator laptop because you're getting a top tier processor here, an HX, which has more cores and threads. It's not the i9, so that means it has 8 less efficiency cores, but it has the same performance cores and it's super fast. So high levels of performance on the performance cores, which means great for gaming, great for multimedia creation. Only a 5060 though, so that's the main thing here, that you're kind of not getting top tier. You're also only getting 16 gigs of DDR5, so you could upgrade this though. This laptop definitely has upgradable SODIMM memory and a great keyboard with good ports, and one that I can definitely 100% recommend. So this is like definitely S tier. It's currently our top ranked laptop, and yeah. Just look at the screen and through his eyes, LOL. Sorry guys, thank you for being patient with me. Okay, so yeah, that's currently our top ranked laptop right now. And I'm gonna put the top 5 laptops for today in the SS tier. I'm not sure, that one might be SS tier. I don't know, that one's really, really good. MSI Katana 15HX, i7 14650HX, RTX 5070, 32 gigs of RAM. So again, RAM is a premium right now. 1 terabyte SSD, and it's a QHD 165 hertz. I think this is going to be around like 90 to 95% P3, probably, but should be 100% sRGB for the display, at least. 115 watts to the graphics power, so basically a full tier 5070, and a good CPU and 32 gigs, but it's not OLED. And so the screen is not going to be as good, but you got a nice upgrade to the specs, and it's a 5070, and it's cheap. Like this is probably an S tier deal. Big downside here, no G-Sync, no advanced Optimus. You get regular Optimus with this one. We'll take a closer look at the Katana here. Let's take a look at the ports. The ports also are not as good. 3-zone keyboard backlight with this one. USB-A, headphone combo jack, USB-C 3.2, or maybe even 3.1 on this one. HDMI 2.1, and an Ethernet port. The hinge is plastic, the overall build quality is plastic. The build quality is not as good as the Legion series or the Legion 5i, for example, but this one is lighter. It's 5.3 pounds, and it's gonna have a 15-inch display on it, so 16:9 aspect ratios, not 16:10. And the keyboard's not gonna be as nice. That's another downside here, okay? 2 USB-As on the left, and that's it. I mean, it's very minimal on the ports, only 1 USB-C. This is more like a pure gamer, medium portable budget, and I'm definitely thinking this is an A tier. But I don't think this is S tier. You know, like, it's important to me that you guys get a great screen, great thermals, and great value. Like, this has good hardware for the money. This is S-tier hardware for the money with B-tier build quality and B-tier ports. So that's why we're gonna put this sucker into a solid A-tier position. If it was another $100 cheaper, I'd put it to S-tier. It's just the build quality and the advanced features like G-Sync Advanced Optimus not being included that knock it down to A-tier. Like, yeah, that's a pretty big deal in my opinion. All right, so here is our Big Mama first top tier 16-core, 32-thread CPU. If you're after raw multimedia performance, this is the cheapest, highest performance CPU on the tier list today. HP Omen 16 with the Ryzen 9 8940HX CPU. That's 16 cores, 32 threads. This is a AMD desktop class CPU stuck in a laptop and running, I'm guessing this is not gonna be running at the maximum TDP for it, which would be like 160, 165 approximately, but it's gonna probably run over 100 watts, and that's gonna be some fantastic multi-core rendering for sure. RTX 5060, 32 gigs of RAM as well. Again, RAM is at a premium, 1 terabyte SSD, but it's only a full HD 144 hertz 300 nits display. So you get fantastic CPU rendering on a full HD display, and it should be about 100% sRGB on this guy. So overall, great value. Let's take a closer look at this. From a CPU perspective, this is probably the best value on the list. Close to, if not the best value on the list. Let's see if it'll go to the next page. It went 2 of them, I think. Okay, there's the Omen 16, there we go. So you get a number pad, arrow keys, a nice trackpad. Ports on the right side, 1 USB-A. Ports on the left side, looks like a micro SD, a headphone combo port, another USB-A. And ports on the rear, HDMI, Ethernet. Where's the USB-Cs in this guy? There's got to be some USB-Cs, right? All right, so this is currently available over on Best Buy. Again, linked in the description, and please use the links if you want to help support me as a content creator. Let's take a look at the specs, because the ports here are not super clear what they have available here. I don't even know if they'll have the ports here very well laid out. 62.5% on the sRGB. Interesting. That's really bad if that's the case. That could be a typo though, because usually Omens come with 100% sRGB, but maybe not on their lowest end ones this year. USB-C 3.1 is included on one of them. You get 1 USB-A 3.1 and 2 USB-A 3.0s. So 4 total USBs. I don't know where that USB-C is on the laptop, but very good reviews on this one. From users, I have not reviewed this one. I have reviewed similar ones in the past, but not this one in particular. But fantastic silicon for the money here. Let's put this, I think this is S tier. For sure, if you're after multimedia rendering on a budget, getting a Dragon Range for $1149 is insane. All right, so here's a Asus TUF A16 is our next one. RTX 5070. All right, RTX 5070, so nice, 5070, 32 gigs, nice upgrade for the RAM. Full HD 165Hz, 300 nits, and of course Asus comes with G-Sync and Advanced Optimus across their entire lineup. So, and it's a Ryzen 9 270. Is that even a CPU? It should be a Ryzen 7 maybe. It might be a typo right there. Pretty dang lightweight, 4.85 pounds. We're looking at a number pad, looking at good quality ports, good build quality, giving it the fact that it's an Asus TUF. It's $1,200 though, and the CPU is nothing that special. The display is nothing that special, but it's worth buying if you're an Asus fan. I'm thinking this is a solid B, high B, low A, somewhere. I'm gonna put it low A for now, but it might bump down to a B, I don't know, as we keep going. Acer Nitro V16, Core 7 240H, RTX 5070, 16 gigs, 1 terabyte, and a QHD 180 Hz, 400 nits. Nice display, okay RAM, decent processor, decently portable system. Let's take a little bit closer look at this one. We've seen similar configs, just slightly different ones at different prices. I think it's an overall good buy, but not amazing buy. I think this is going to slot into 5070 version, but a little bit more. Yeah, we're going to put it into B, just because the other ones are cheaper, and they give you almost the exact same specs. HP Omen Transcend 14 Intel Ultra 7 255H, RTX 5060. I'm not sure how much RAM that is. Let's take a look at this actual listing. And not sure which one's going to be the right price. $1199 is the price we're looking for. Okay, here it is. A 3K display. I believe it's an OLED, yeah, so you get an OLED for $1,200, 14-inch laptop, 32 gigs of memory. That's soldered, cannot upgrade that, so nice that it comes with that much. 5060, 1 terabyte SSD, shadow black. The keyboard, very meshy. This is a 4-zone with the WASD keys that can change color. The build quality is very nice. It's very much built like a tank, but this is only powered through USB-C, and there's only 2 USB-C ports on here. And my review of the Omen 14 was not that impressed. I was not that impressed because the Zephyrus G14 is just such a better machine. But I'm not gonna lie, this is a very attractive price point. And so 5060, 32 gigs, Ultra 7, 255H. I mean, as long as this is undercutting the G14, this is a potential buy for sure. So I'm thinking it's a solid B, mid-tier B. But because of the low power limit on the GPU, that's what really hurts it. You know, like when you compare it to the G14 that gets close to the max power limit in a 14-inch chassis, it's just so much better. So yeah, that's the main thing. It's just it's USB-C power adapter, and that's just not good for top-tier performance. Okay, we're getting into another big mama jama processor here. We've got the Legion 5i with the i9-14900HX, RTX 5070, 16 gigs DDR5 5600, 1 terabyte SSD, and a QHD 165Hz OLED. Again, gosh, the Legion 5s with all the OLEDs coming out, it's just such a glorious thing. 1247. That's delicious. So top tier, last gen processor, I guess technically like kind of two gens ago, kind of. And RTX 5070. So good GPU for the money, great CPU for the money. This is a 24-core, 32-thread CPU, and it's in a chassis that could actually go like to like 140 watts or higher pretty consistently. Only 16 gigs of RAM, but that will be upgradable, but it'll also cost you like $200 to upgrade this to 32 gigs right now. But it's got the OLED 500 nits. QHD 165Hz. So, bam, this is another S tier because it's just like it's just so similar to these other Legions. It's a CPU upgrade, I think a GPU upgrade as well. So, all in all, it's just excellent. We're gonna put that right up here with these other Legion 5s. Hard not to recommend them, you know? Gigabyte Aero X16. Let's check another look at this one. So this one has slightly different upgrades. Similar CPU, 5070 this time around, and it's only a full HD display. Interesting. I think the last one was a QHD display, and this one costs more, but you get the 5070. So the Aero X16, again, a super portable 16-inch chassis. Great for a student, I would say, if you're trying to get a student-focused laptop with good battery life. Decent ports here. Lower power limit on the GPU, but it's going to be pretty decent either way because the 5070 doesn't need that much power. Only 85 watts though, so it's not full performance, but close to full performance. I would say this is going to be just like similar to the last Aero, like a solid A for someone who's just looking for portability. All right, like portable 16-inch for like a student. Very good choice, I think. Zephyrus G14, Ryzen AI 9 270, RTX 5060, 16 gig DDR5, 8000. This is some of the fastest memory that I've tested in a laptop this year so far. I pitted this laptop against the MacBook Pro M5 in a series of 3 live streams this last week. And this thing crushed the M5 in gaming performance. And this thing's currently on sale for $500 off, though I think it was $1,600 most of the year. Asus raised the price to $1,800 recently, so this is currently, $500 off. It's a phenomenal machine overall. The main downside is a 5060 on a QHD, higher than QHD plus resolution, so a 3K display. And Asus rep is actually watching right now some of my content and messaging me, which is kind of hilarious. Anyway, I should probably put my... If you haven't noticed, I'm wearing 2 watches right now. I'm wearing a Huawei Fit Pro 4 and an Apple Watch Ultra 3. I'm going to do a review comparing these. and also a Aura Ring 4 fitness ring. So I'm trying to do some fitness reviews. Let's take a closer look at this G14. So this is my current top recommended. I'm going to try to silence this so that I don't constantly, I don't know, maybe I should just take it off. Don't constantly get vibrations on it, and it's very distracting for me. Okay, so G14, Ryzen AI 9 270, RTX 5060, 16 gigs of soldered RAM, not upgradable, but very fast. 1 terabyte SSD, and it's a 3K 120 hertz OLED 500 nits. Actually rated it to about 370 nits in my test, but peak brightness, I'm sure it could hit 500. $12.99, absolutely phenomenal sales price, and this matches the lowest price that we have seen on this laptop all year. So this is a go. If you need a portable laptop, this is so much better than the Omen Transcend. This is better than anything else in the market at this price point for a 14-inch portable laptop. It's my top recommended 14-inch laptop, and this one probably is going to be double S tier, but it's just because it's the best ultra portable. Like, it's just hands down the best. But I think the other thing is, I think what we may end up doing is putting this config into S tier. All right. I mean, and the main thing is it's on sale right now, so it's an insane deal right now because it's the best price we've seen on it all year. And then there's another version of the Zephyrus G14. Where are you? I think it's right here. All right. So Zephyrus G14. This one's the 5070 Ti, and this one's currently $500 off as well. So we're going to get to this one eventually, but this one is going into the SS tier because it is the combination of 12 gigs of VRAM with a 5070 Ti. It can play every game on ultra settings at the high resolution. It's really, really good. So that's like a little, like, since we're doing the G14, might as well do both configs of the G14 at the same time. But really great ports, really amazing keyboard, some of the best speakers in a gaming laptop, some of the best build quality in a gaming laptop. It only weighs 3.46 pounds. There's very little not to love about it. My main gripes with it is the left wrist rest gets hot. So if you're a warm wrist rest picky person like me, I cannot use this laptop long term because the wrist rest gets too hot. I'm actually using the Zephyrus G16 because the wrist rest stays nice and cool, and it's almost as portable as the G14. I've got a G14 versus G16 comparison review that's currently being edited and will be coming out soon. So you'll be able to see the performance differences between the G14 and the G16 5070 Ti's compared side by side. Okay, MSI Vector A16HX AI, Ryzen 9 8940HX. So you're looking at the Dragon Range processor, only $150 more than the HP Omen that we looked at earlier. That had a Dragon Range desktop, AMD desktop CPU put into a laptop, RTX 5070 Ti, and a 16 gig, only 16 gigs of RAM, but this is going to have upgradable memory, 1 terabyte SSD, and a QHD 240 hertz display. So a good display, no G-Sync, no advanced Optimus with MSI, which is really sad, but an amazing processor with a great GPU, and this is not 175 watts, this is going to be 140 watts. 16 gigs of RAM is a weak point here, but other than that, and that's upgradable, so you can upgrade that down the line. Wait for RAM to get cheaper and then buy upgraded RAM. $12.99. This is the lowest price I've seen on this laptop. It's absolutely probably the best value for GPU, like value per dollar. And like, it's a thick boy though. Like, this is not a portable laptop focused machine. 2 USB A 3.2s, I believe, and a headphone combo jack. On the left side, 2 USB-Cs, a full-size SD card slot. You got a huge ventilation system here. You got more ports on the back, and Ethernet and HDMI and the power plug. So good ports, good keyboard, though the keyboard's not like amazing. It's kind of like I think it's a 24 zone RGB keyboard, so you can do lots of different colors on it, but it is a mesh keyboard. And the keyboard's not nearly as good as something like the Legion series. And the display, I don't know the exact sRGB of it, but I think it's 100% sRGB, maybe even close to like 95% P3. So very, very good display QHD 240 Hertz. Not as good as OLED. But from a specs perspective, for the money, it's a 57D Ti at the same price where all these other Legions are at, only doing 5070s. And the 5070 Ti is a huge performance jump. It's like a 40% performance jump from a 5070. So this is going to the top of S tier. Like, it is one of the best deals, and I can almost guarantee you this deal is gonna sell out at $12.99. It may have already sold out, quite frankly. I'm not sure. Since the time we found the deal and put it on the list and everything, this already may be sold out. The main downside with this laptop, there's no G-Sync and no Advanced Optimus. There's regular Optimus, but the lack of G-Sync means you're gonna need to be able to either get really high FPS, where V-Sync and G-Sync don't matter that much. Like, if you can get 150 FPS or more, it's easy, or even 100 FPS or more. Very little screen tearing will be noticeable, but when you're below 100, especially when you're below 60, screen tearing will be very visible. So you're gonna wanna be able to turn on V-Sync or turn your settings down lower to boost the frame rate, which will be very doable usually in the vast majority of games with the 5070 Ti, because it's such a powerful GPU that it just goes through games on Ultra at QHD resolution pretty much no problem, with just a couple of exceptions like Expedition 33. You probably want to turn on V-Sync in that game. Okay, so $12.99, really great value, just absolutely phenomenal. S tier, maybe even SS tier. We'll see. It might go into the SS tier. Okay, let me check chat. I can't go back to matte screens, LOL. Okay, sorry, bro says, hey, I need an opinion. I think it's good to say to upgrade from my Lenovo Legion 7 Pro with a 13th gen Intel and 4080 to the Lenovo Pro 7 with the AMD 3D, X3D, I think is what you mean, and a 5080. I mean, that would be a big upgrade for esports games and only a minor upgrade for GPU-bound games. So if you mainly play AAA games, the 4080 is probably still serving you really well. And that's the general rule I recommend for people. Like, is the laptop working great for you? If it is, just hold on to it for another year or two and see how it keeps working for you. If it's starting to, not be able to play games that well for you, or you know there's a game that it'll play much better with like the X3D chip, like you're an esports player and you really want to get an X3D chip, then you can get like huge performance gains with the X3D chip, like 50% increased performance probably with the X3D chip in esports games. And I can highly recommend that upgrade if you're an esports gamer. If you're not an esports gamer, it's maybe not something you should focus on, But the X3D chip is phenomenal. And I believe that is one of the deals that we're gonna talk about later on here. Alienware 16X Aurora, Intel Ultra 275HX, so the first 275HX, which is a 24 core, 24 thread, non-hyper-threaded CPU, RTX 5060, 32 gigs, so lots of RAM, and it's a QHD plus 240 Hertz, 100% DCI-P3 screen, $12.99. That's all really good except for the weak GPU being only a 5060 when we have 5070s. But it's a banger of a CPU, great display, great RAM, and an overall decent laptop. This is probably an A or a lower S tier. A high A, we're gonna put it in high A here. High A territory. Let's take a look at the specs a little bit more in detail and some photos. So here's a laptop. Again, don't like the arrow keys. Trackpad could be a little larger, 16:10 aspect ratio, Windows Hello there. No ports on the right side, which I kind of like. USB-A on the left with the headphone combo port. Ethernet, I think that may be a webcam shutoff button right there. Then we have two USB-Cs, another USB-A, HDMI, and our power port. Alienware logo on the back. But decent build quality, nice basic laptop. And if you're after CPU performance with a QHD plus display, I don't know, for media encoding or something, this could be a great buy. But I think some of the other ones with the 5070 Ti would still be a better buy. Okay, we'll give you one more chance. You gotta stay still, buddy, okay? Yeah, you need to be held by me? Okay. All right. So, this is one of my favorite laptops. that I've had my hands on this year, though this one's a slightly different spec compared to what I tested. I tested a 5070 Ti version of this. Oh my gosh, Rocky's just too much energy. 9955HX, which is the new Dragon range for this year. Top of the line besides the X3D. RTX 5060, 16 gigs DDR5, 5600, so not that much RAM. The main advantage to this laptop is the fact that it's got that 9955HX CPU, and it's going to be pushing like 40,000 in Cinebench R23. The GPU is medium and pretty lackluster for the price. The lack of 32 gigs is a little disappointing, but it is SODIMM upgradable. 1 terabyte SSD is nice. Let's take a little closer look. You got great RGB on the Strix series, and you got a number pad on the trackpad, wraparound RGB, some nice quality ports, G-Sync, Advanced Optimus, and great cooling. Just really phenomenal cooling in this laptop. I can definitely recommend this. You also get the lower tier Full HD Plus screen. I think there are better deals currently on the market. So I'm gonna put this into B tier for now. This probably needs to be $12.99. It'll bump up to an A tier, maybe yeah, like maybe mid A tier if it was $12.99. Okay, Rocky says he doesn't want to stay in my arms, and that's fine. All right. Let's see here. One second. No. Okay. MSI Vector 16HX, Intel Core Ultra 7 255HX, and RTX 5070 Ti. So you get a current gen Intel Ultra 7 255, RTX 5070 Ti, 16 gigs of RAM, Full HD Plus. Really, Full HD Plus, that's not that. 45% NTSC. Ooh, that's giving me the, oh, don't buy this, okay? All right, unless there's no other 5070 Ti's that are this cheap, don't buy this. If that's the right display quality, then oh my gosh, this is a do not buy, because that screen is garbo. All right, at this point in time, that's what they say here. Okay, it says IPS level 45% NTSC. I don't know if that's actually accurate, because that's crazy low. You get dual Thunderbolt 5s though. So you get great specs with like the crappiest screen that we've looked at so far today almost. So I don't know why MSI does this, a 5070 Ti with a 45% NTS screen. Jeez, I don't know what they're thinking, but anyway, $1429 is a great price for the specs you're getting aside from the screen. So compared to the other Vector, which has the QHD screen, right? This one has the QHD Plus. It's going to be a very high quality screen. This is such a better one. Go for this one. It's cheaper, and it's a better CPU. It's got the AMD 16 core 32 thread CPU. So just go for this one. This one's better. All right. But if this one sells out and you still want a 5070 Ti for less than $1,500, then you might need to get this one with an external monitor or something. But oh gosh, okay, we're gonna put this into B tier, just because the specs are so good for the money, but the everything else, like the screen, is just like an Achilles heel on that one for sure. All right, let me check chat. I went white G16 is what I went with. Yeah. What's your recommended 5080 laptop? It really depends on what else you want with the 5080. Do you want portable? Do you want performance? And we're going to get into those. We're going to get into the higher tier ones soon. You know, we're going to the more expensive category of laptops here. So Razer Blade 14 with the AI9 365, RTX 5060, 16 gigs of DDR5, 8000, 1 terabyte, 3K 120 hertz, 400 nits. Let's take a closer look at this Blade 14. Blade series from Razer has excellent ports, great trackpad, crazy good build quality. Just as good as the G14, might be maybe slightly better. good thermals and is very thin and light for the money. A little bit heavier than the G14, but just really well designed. The main issue I have with it is that it does not go up to a 5070 Ti, and it costs more than the G14. When the G14 is just as good for the same specs, then yeah, I would say just get G14, because the G14, same display, same SSD speed and size, same RAM speed and size, very similar processor, though this processor is a little bit better. It's a processor upgrade compared to the G14, but it's 150 more, so I just don't think that's worth it. All right. If you love Razer, though, maybe this one could be worth it. All right. If you're a big Razer fan, it might be worth paying 150 more for it. But if you want the best G14, or if you want the best 14-inch laptop, go for the 5070 Ti version of the G14, because you can't even get a 5070 Ti version at all. Or maybe a 5080 version of the G14 if you can spring it and it's on sale or something. But yeah, for right now, this one is just, it's so much better. Like, it's literally better GPU performance for your money, 32 gigs of RAM, a better CPU, and it's just a better system overall, and just way better performance. All right, so this one is a great deal overall, but it's not S tier. We're going to put it into A tier. Middle A tier is, I think, a good spot for it. So if you're a Razer fan, it's a good time to justify that Razer purchase. But get ready to go through a headache if you have to go through support, though that may be true of most laptop manufacturers still at this point. Checking chat. I hardly use the laptop screen, mostly plugged into a TV or monitor. Well, that's the case where the MSI Vector 16 with that crappy display might be perfect for you. If you don't hardly ever use the laptop screen, then yeah, that may be a good option. But the specs are still better on this version of the Vector, you know. So, okay, let's talk Acer Predator Helios Neo 16S. You get the top tier Intel Ultra 9 275HX RTX 5070 Ti, 32 gigs of RAM, great RAM. Let's take a closer look here at this one. All right, so Acer Predator Helios OLED QHD 240 Hz OLED 1499, and it's a 5070 Ti with this OLED. All right, that's big. It's also 6400 megatransfer memory, so fast memory. OLED 5070 Ti, and this is the new Acer Predator Helios Neo 16. I know we talked about a lot of different Acer laptops today, but this is the new one. This is the Acer Predator Helios Neo 16S. The S means it's new because it's compared to last year, all right? And it also means it's slim. So this one's very thin, very svet. It's only 5.1 pounds basically. For a thin and light laptop. I did get hands-on with this one at CES. It's very nice build quality. It's a gorgeous screen. It's kind of Acer's competitor to the Zephyrus G16. And the fact that it has the HX CPU means it's a lot more powerful. Does it really have the HX CPU? That's really impressive. For some reason I thought it was the H processor in this, but let's see. I do want to make sure that we are listing the right specs here. Yeah, 275HX according to Best Buy. So, yeah, that's very good value. Better value. I would say this is better value than the Zephyrus G16, because this is almost the exact same specs as the Zephyrus G16 with the 5070 Ti that costs $2,100. And except that this has an even better CPU because the HX has more cores, more threads. It's basically a desktop chip stripped down into a laptop. This laptop is bigger than the Zephyrus G16. I don't think the build quality or design is as good. The speakers are better on the Zephyrus G16. But this thing is very nice. And it's very good value for the money. So Black Friday deal-wise, this is definitely S tier. Again, link in the description if you guys want to go for this one, but I can highly recommend this one. I think this is going to be high S tier because of the value and the overall specs that this thing comes with. So we're going to pop it into high S tier. We'll have to move some things around probably as we fill up. Legion 5i, Intel Ultra 7 255HX, RTX 5070. Let's take another look at this one. All right, so this is the Neo 16 non-S, which means it's not the slim version. 275HX, still has the HX, no 5070 Ti. Okay, so lacking the huge upgrade. Ti is a huge upgrade over the 5070. Both VRAM and total CUDA count and total GPU power, it's a huge upgrade. 32 gigs of RAM is nice, 1 terabyte SSD is nice, QHD, and I don't think this is OLED. So I do think you're gonna get better CPU performance in the thicker chassis. I like the other one so much better because it's a 5070 Ti. So I would say, wait, did we skip this one? Where is this one? I think we may need to make a little screen thing for this one. So let's go to, we're just gonna grab this one. Okay, I gotta actually pop out of here and switch it into this mode really quick, because this is how I grab the screenshots here. Oh, I was there. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna make a card for this one real quick. To put into our tier list. Okay, and this one, because it's better CPU performance, but it's only 5070 Ti, it's the same price, and it's lacking OLED. We're just going to pop it into the B tier because it's not worth it, you know. All right, so we are on to the Legion 5i now. Legion 5i, Intel Ultra 7 255HX, 5070, not 5070 Ti. Not sure how much RAM this specific unit comes with. OLED 500 Hertz, refresh rate, $14.99. For the price, these other ones are just better, all right? This one has a higher tier CPU, and it's still got the OLED, and it's $250 cheaper. So don't buy this config of the Legion 5i. This is gonna be a solid B tier. All right, but it's good. It's just, there's other ones that are better. HP Omen Transcend 14, again, low power limit, USB-C only. It's only a 5070, not a 5070 Ti. Not worth it right now. I'd say this is a C tier. We already went over the ports on that one, just not even worth going into details on that one, all right? Because we already did. All right, so the Strix G16 with the Dragon range, 8940HX, RTX 5070 Ti, excellent. So you get a Dragon range, 5070 Ti, only 16 gigs of DDR, 5600, 1 terabyte SSD, full HD 165 Hertz, 300 nits, so mediocre display with an amazing CPU and GPU. But one way to think about it is full HD plus kind of future-proofs you extra because you don't have to push QHD resolution. And it's still a good quality display. Advanced Optimus G-Sync, nice chassis, nice RGB, $15.99. Great overall value, but not amazing. I'm gonna say this is like a late A tier, like a end of A tier. You know, but it's Asus. So if you like Asus, you might bump that up to like a high A or S tier if you were ranking that. Specifically for you, Legion Pro 5i, Intel Ultra 9 275HX, RTX 5070 Ti, and a DDR5 6400, 1 terabyte SSD. Ooh, this one's quite nice. Let's see the price. $1,700, but this is the Pro Series. So we're jumping up in build quality to all metal chassis. We got 275HX, top tier CPU, 5070 Ti, great value for a top tier chassis, 6400 mega transfer memory, 1 terabyte SSD, QHD plus, and you might get 240 hertz or 165 depending on how you configure it. For 1693, let's try to see which exact unit this one is. All right, just close these ones down. So it must be like this one with a build your own PC and probably with the coupon. So you're looking at Lenovo's official website for this. You could upgrade to 32 gigs for only 45 bucks for now. I would recommend doing that if you can. Oh, you can get up to 6400 mega transfer. That's probably worth it if you care about memory speed. You can add a second 1 terabyte SSD and you can upgrade to 240 hertz if you want. Let's not, for value's sake. We'll add this sucker to cart. $1849 right now. That's good value already. And early holiday deal is what we're going to want to do for our coupon. We'll feed the hungry. $640 off, minus 40. We'll enter an early holiday deal. Let's see if extra 5 works. Extra 5 got us another $92 off. Actually, it's $17.49. So yeah, that's a really great deal. Especially for the RAM and everything upgraded in there. And if you were an esports player, you could go to that 240 hertz display, custom order that sucker. And if you want to, if you go directly through Lenovo, I love Lenovo's extended warranty. Like when you spec it, you can get a nice extended warranty for not too much usually. Let's see how much it is right now. But both Best Buy and the Lenovo have excellent extended warranty prices. So you can go to a 4-year warranty for only $100 more, $112 more. And you can do premium on-site support for $187 or premium care with accidental. So if you drop it even, you can still get it repaired for $275. I think that is amazing. Like that is some of the best value for an extended warranty in the industry. And Lenovo usually has pretty good warranty support, but you still hear horror stories about it. So yeah, so the price is not quite this price, but it's very close when you put those coupons in. So I would say this is, because it has all the modern bells and whistles. We're gonna put an S tier, but near the end, just because the value is great, but not like amazing. All right, let me check chat. Lagging, not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Let's see. It's showing it's all right now. Interesting. Maybe we had something downloading in the background or something. I don't know. Maybe one of the laptops behind me decided to go update or something. I don't know. It's showing it's smooth right now, but yeah, I appreciate the heads up if there's any streaming quality issues. All right. Next on the list, we have the Acer Predator Helios Neo 16 AI. So this is the thicker machine, 5070 Ti, 16 gigs, 275HX, $1699. This is good value, but not amazing. We're talking, I think, B tier here. All right, it's well, maybe A. It's just like if this was during the regular year, this would be like S tier or like top of A. But right now, it's only B tier. We already went over this one. No OLED screen, that's the main downside, and no 32 gigs of RAM. All right, next up we have the Blade 14. We already talked about this one. This one has the 5070 though on it and 32 gigs of RAM instead of 16. So those are the two key differences. And it jumps up in price a couple $100. I'd say it's a solid A tier, all right? But it doesn't beat the G14 in value. Asus Strix G16, Dragon Range 9955HX, 5070 Ti, 32 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, and a QHD 240Hz. So you get all the bells and whistles here except for the X3D processor. And it's yeah, everything else is like perfect. All right, 1859. I have the laptop that my editor is using is actually this one. You know, one of the ones that Asus sent over, and they're using it to edit videos. The only issue we've had with it is it is experiencing random crashes in the middle of rendering with, you know, editing with DaVinci Resolve. Probably need to do some BIOS updates or something like that, but that's the current only issue. Other than that, it's been amazing. Like, I don't know, once every few hours it'll crash, like straight to the BIOS, like full restart. But DaVinci Resolve is great in the sense that it always instantly saving. So in terms of value, you're getting G-Sync, Advanced Optimus, you're getting decent speakers, you're getting a number pad on the trackpad with amazing RGB, you're getting great quality ports, high levels of performance, excellent cooling all in all, and just phenomenal performance and value overall at $1859. I mean, I think this is a high level A because you get all the bells and whistles with the upgraded RAM and everything, like except an OLED display. If it had an OLED display, it would go S tier, I think. You know, if the X3D chip was $2,000, which is, and everything else was the same specs on that, I would put it to S tier. But right now the X3D chip is sold out at $2,500. So that's like a $620 upgrade basically. Okay, Vector 16HX AI, Intel Ultra 9 275HX, RTX 5080. And we get the gorgeous 240Hz QHD Plus display. Let's take a closer look at this one. Now, this one is top tier GPU value for your money. Like value for your money, good display quality value for your money. Let's see which link it is. We got 6 links here for this Vector. This is the cheapest RTX 5080, less than $2,000. One of the only 5080s we've ever seen be less than $2,000. So we'll let these links load in, taking a little while. I guess my internet, oh, my internet is going slow. Eesh. Let me see. Okay, so my internet is back. I don't know. I don't know what's happening with my internet, but let me make sure that my girlfriend's not downloading anything, just in case. Hey, be sure not to download something right now. I think it's lagging the internet, or something is. I don't know. I don't know if you're actually downloading anything, but thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. All right. So, sorry about the little leg spike there, but I think we're good now. I don't know what's going on. All right. MSI Vector 16HX AI, Intel Ultra 9 275HX, RTX 5080, and MSI is sending me the Vector 16HX, I think with the 5070 Ti for me to review. QHD 240Hz, 100% DCI P3 color gamut, $1899. This is glorious. 16 gigs of VRAM for your money. So for MSI's official website, $1949. Best Buy is where you get the $1899 price point, and you can get an extended warranty, though the pricing on it is $549 for a 4-year, but you get accidental protection on that. So, and I think Best Buy does a great job with it in the sense that you get the full gift card value refunded back to you if it broke and they can't fix it for you. So, looks like this one's sold out on B&H Photo. Newegg is $19.49. Walmart's $19.49. Best Buy on this one's $23.75. $18.99 through Best Buy. Phenomenal value. We're definitely looking at an S tier level here, maybe even SS. I think this is an SS because it's a 5080 for less than $2,000. All right. Nice. HP Omen Max 5070 Ti, Ryzen 9 HX 375, 32 gigs of DDR5, 1 terabyte QHD 240Hz OLED. So $19.49. This is going to be really great value, but it's the QHD OLED that's great here. It's just if you're after an OLED, I mean, it's portable. This is so much better than the 14-inch Omen Transcend. Decent ports, aluminum build quality. I really like the white version of this too. It looks really sick. I've heard really good things about this. I've not been able to get my hands on it or review it yet. I think this is an A tier, but not an S tier, because it's only a 5070 Ti, and you can get a 5080 for less. All right, time to talk about the Zephyrus G16. This is the actual laptop I am streaming to you right now using. Where is Sky? Sky's chilling. Sky is mainly a chiller. She just chills, you know. She's a very relaxed cat. Okay, so the Zephyrus G16 with the Intel Core Ultra 9 285H, not HX, RTX 5070 Ti, 32 gigs of DDR5X, 7464. I believe it's a 2 terabyte SSD. And it's a QHD 240Hz OLED with amazing screen, amazing speakers. I love the white version of this. The trackpad's amazing. The ports are really amazing. I think that, oh, this is the wrong, right, we already talked about this one. This one's already an S tier. This is the G16, okay? The G16, slightly better speakers than the G14. You got Thunderbolt 4 support on the left side, USB-C support on the right side. Good overall thermals, amazing speakers, great portability, only 4.3 pounds. It's an amazing laptop. If you're looking at something that's more portability focused, that is like just a great laptop to watch movies with on the go, a great laptop to be productive with, though it's not the highest level of performance. If you want some more performance, get a thicker machine with a desktop class CPU in it. That's my recommendation for the Zephyrus G16, but if you're overall happy with the performance of the Zephyrus G16, the premium features are there, and it's probably the most premium Windows laptop that money can buy currently from like a multimedia consuming perspective. And this one with the 5070 Ti gets enough performance to play basically all the games maxed out, with a couple exceptions. You're gonna have to turn some settings down to like medium and high, like Expedition 33. It's just such a demanding game. For the most part, it's just a great laptop, potentially laptop of the year for a lot of people. I know Jared's Tech and myself have chosen to use this laptop because it's the best blend of media consumption and gaming performance, being satisfactory to play any game, and enough CPU performance while at the same time giving you excellent battery life. So it's the combination like of great battery life, great multimedia, great premium features, great trackpad, great keyboard, great ports. It's just really, really good. All right, so we're gonna put this, I don't think it's an SS tier, but it's on sale right now for several $100s off. And like I said, it's basically gaming laptop of the year, pretty much. I think for a lot of reviewers, it will be in the top 5 at least. All right, so we're down to the most expensive laptops. We're going over to $2,000 now. So Legion Pro 7, Ryzen 9, 9955 HX3D. This is the only HX3D deal going right now. It's from Lenovo, 2327. Let's take a closer look at this. The main reason to go with the X3D processor is you're an esports player. You want to play esports. You want to get the most 1% lows, especially in esports, but also in AAA games. Like AAA games will also have better 1% lows. I have done detailed comparisons between Intel and AMD this year, and I've done detailed comparisons between AMD and AMD, like between the HX3D and just the regular HX. And the HX3D gets more FPS with the same GPU, like 7 or 8% more, if I'm remembering correctly, but like even more 1% low performance beyond that. So with the same hardware, it just makes games perform better, and that's true with esports games and AAA games. So this is a top tier pick for me, and the fact that it's 2327 with a 5080 is so good, and it's a 240 hertz OLED. And it's in the Legion Pro 7 chassis, which is an all-metal chassis with great RGB implementation, has an amazing keyboard, really good ports, and great GPU cooling, CPU cooling. I mean, there's not like hardly any complaints here, except it's a big machine for a 16-inch. It weighs 5.6 pounds. It's thick. It's kind of chunky, but it looks nice. It's got great cooling, great ports. This is also a contender for laptop of the year. I don't know why they don't offer a 5090 version of this, but I'm pretty sure that's off the table for now. This is a laptop that I would very likely buy if I could buy, especially a 5090 version of it. But yeah, this is, I don't know if this should be S tier, probably should be SS tier. It's so good, okay? That's just, it's that good. Okay, Legion Pro 7, and I haven't reviewed that one yet. I just know it's good because I did the Intel version of this. This is the model that I reviewed like 3 or 4 months ago. Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX, RTX 5080, 32 gigs of DDR5, 6400, QHD 240 hertz OLED. Main downside to the Legion Pro 7 and Pro 7i series is the super glossy OLED panel. Very reflective. It's very much like a mirror. And in terms of this one compared to the AMD version is just so much better. It's worth at least $300 or $400 more. That's why it's SS tier. And this one is probably just going to go to low S tier. Maybe it should be mid S tier. This one's very good, but yeah, it's not as good as. It's just not as good as the HX3D version. I mean, for the same money, the HX3D version is worth at least $300 to $500 more. Okay, we have 6 laptops more. Let's do this. Acer Predator Helios Neo 18. We got a couple of we got some 18-inchers here at the end. This one's on sale for $23.99 with a 5070 Ti. And I believe this is another version with a 5090 for $1,100 more, all right? But it's the cheapest 18-inch 5090, all right, that we can find currently. So, but I think we'll see better deals than this. So from a 5070 Ti perspective, 18-incher, you know, I would go Strix G18 over this one. But that said, you get 64 gigs of RAM. That's phenomenal. 2 terabyte SSD. That's also really good. So you get some great baseline specs, and it's still $23.99. You know, those upgrades are not cheap. You also get a QHD 250 hertz mini LED, but with a lot of bloom on it. But it's going to be super bright, like 1,000 nits, and very colorful. So this is going to be great for multimedia consumption, and pretty dang good for video editing as well, giving the 100% DCI P3 color gamut and the very high-end CPU and the 5070 Ti. So, I mean, if you're after an 18-inch multimedia editing machine or gaming machine, this is a solid choice. I'm gonna say both of these are solid choices. The 5090 comes with a UHD 240 hertz instead. So that's the main difference here. And the fact that it's a 5090, that's a sizable upgrade. That's like 30% more performance. And for the price, plus the UHD upgrade, if you're after a 4K plus panel as a priority with a 5090, maybe you're doing AI workloads, you need 24 gigs of VRAM, or you want to be as future-proof as possible, getting a 5090 is definitely the way to go. This is one of the cheaper 5090s, especially in an 18-inch chassis. So I think this is like, the 5090 is an A-tier deal, but mainly just geared for 18-inchers, people who need 18-inchers. And I think the 5070 Ti is also just an A-tier deal. So I think they're both around the same level. Okay, so we got 4 more to go. Acer Predator Helios 16, so another Acer deal this time, $500 cheaper at $3,000. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys can hear Rocky, but he's meowing in the bathroom and I feel so bad. I need to go get my little kitty cat. Okay. Come here. You're okay. He's meowing really loud. I need you to watch him. Plus, I don't want him to be abandoned in there. Okay. Acer Predator Helios 16, Ultra 9 275HX, RTX 5090, 32 gigs DDR5 6400, 2 terabyte SSD, and a QHD 240 hertz. I believe this is a mini LED. Let's take a closer look. So this is the cheapest 5090 currently, I believe. Maybe the Legion Pro 7 5090, Pro 7i 5090 might be a little bit cheaper. I need to double check that. I think it's actually a little bit more. But you get 500 nits OLED, a 5090. You get the upgraded chassis. This thing looks sick. It's a full performance Helios 16. It's high performance memory. It's SODIMM upgradable. You get the nice RGB strip. I mean, this thing is really nice. What are you worried about, little buddy? You gonna help me finish this out? You're gonna have to stay right here, okay? And yeah, overall, this is a, buddy. Do you need to go over there? Did she grab the toy? Okay. Overall, this is a really great laptop with, I think, I did get hands-on with it. I have not reviewed it yet, but on paper, it looks amazing. The design is really upgraded. I don't think these RGB lights are quite as bright as what these images make it look like, but I think this is gonna be a phenomenal laptop. I would recommend looking at detailed reviews before you purchase this one. But from a perspective of like value, 5090 with great all-around specs, this is phenomenal. But if I'm being honest, I probably would still rather get that Legion Pro 7i with the 9955HX 3D over this one, because it's cheaper and the HX 3D will actually boost performance in mini games to be better than this one, even though this has a 5090 and that has a 5080, just because it has the X3D CPU in it. So yeah, as good as this one is, it's still only like it's the cheapest 5090, but it's still, I'm gonna say like an A tier, but high A tier probably. I don't know. We're gonna bump the 2 lowest A tiers down to B, and we're gonna push these ones over so we can put this into A tier. All right, we got 3 more laptops. Let's do this. All right, 3 good deals. HP Omen Max 16, RTX 5090, Intel Core Ultra 9, 275HX, DDR5, 5600, only 16 gigs, dang. I'm sure that you can upgrade that if it's the custom builder. But this is not the lowest price we've seen this. We can see lowest price is $24.63. We've got a lot lower prices in the past. But this is still one of the cheapest 5090s you can get right now. I'd say wait on this. I think we'll see a deal closer to $2,500, or maybe even a little under that. And I think you can get better display. Like you can upgrade this to the OLED one too, probably, and still keep it around that $2,500, $2,600 if the time's right and the specs and pricing is right. So I'd say just hold off on this one. For now, it's a B tier, but I think we'll see that come back, and it'll get even better as we go through here. Legion Pro 7i with the 5090 currently at just over $3,000. This is a phenomenal value and phenomenal deal overall. It's going to come in at the end of S tier, I think. Maybe it should be near the, yeah, probably near the beginning of S tier, I think, because it's the best value 5090. In my opinion, it's the best value 5090 because you get the OLED, 240 hertz, you get the top-end CPU, you get the 5090 GPU. The main issue here is you don't have the X3D. If you had the X3D with the 5090 and this was the price, it would be double S tier. All right, last deal is the Strix Scar 16, currently on sale for $35.99. This one I believe is normally closer to, let's see. Yeah, so this is the lowest price we've seen on it, and I believe it's normally, is it like $43.99 or something? So it's a lot off the price right now. $1,000 off the price, which is crazy good. That's not the right one. Oh, haha, I get it. We are choking the internet. We are choking the internet when I'm opening a bunch of links at the same time. So currently on Asus's website, $42.99. BH Photo. Okay, so Walmart is where the deal is. Should be linked in the right link in the description down below with $35.99. Listed as $700 off right here. But yeah, that's a great value for the Scar. And why is the Scar a good value at $35.99 when compared to the other laptops? Well, it's got this AMOLED matrix thing on, anime matrix on the back, which is super unique. It's got an amazing RGB implementation that's 360 degrees around the bottom. It's got a toolless undercarriage, which I don't think I show in these pictures, but I show in this video. It allows you to open and close the laptop in like 5 seconds, and the SSDs are also toolless, so you can change out your SSD without any tools. Same for the RAM. Wi-Fi card, I think, is also toolless, but maybe you need a screwdriver for that. I think it's completely toolless though. So I'm beyond impressed with the chassis design. The Scar 16 is super portable. It's an 1100 nits mini LED, which is the highest quality mini LED that you can get because it has much reduced bloom, closer to the levels of an OLED, while producing the brightness of a mini LED going over 1000 nits because it has 2000 dimming zones. The main issue with the Scar that I wish it had was the X3D chip, and it doesn't have that. That's kind of the only downside here, but you get 32 gigs of DDR5 5600, a 2 terabyte SSD, and an amazing mini LED screen. So all in all, the Scar series is a phenomenal choice, Scar 16 or 18, but right now the Scar 16 is on sale for $35.99. So if you've been scouting out the Scar series this year, now is a good time to scoop one of these guys up. I don't think this is a B tier. I think it's a high A or a low S tier because this one has almost not gone on sale at all year. So overall, I think it's a low S tier because it's one of the most amazing design laptops of the year. And those are the current sales for today. Now I'm trying to do this again going into the next I don't know, going into maybe in a couple days, do this again, check out all the new deals and see which ones have shifted around. So let's bump the top 2 rated S tier up to SS. And let's take a look at our top 5 deals in the SS category. All right, let's just grab, can I grab? Are you gonna let me grab? Nice, all right. And can we make these all bigger at the same time? We can. All right, so our triple rated SS deals today are the Zephyrus G14 with the 5070 Ti at $1999. I would say the X3D is probably the best deal out of the 5. Then the Vector. Yeah, I'm gonna slide this around to the back. Slide this one over, and I think this is the order they deserve to be in. So the Legion Pro 7i with the HX3D is the top pick, the top #1 deal for today. The Vector 16 HX AI with the Core Ultra 9 275HX 5080. The Vector A16 with the 5070 Ti for $1299 being the 3rd best deal. Then the Predator Helios Neo 16 SAI Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX with the RTX 5070 Ti, because this one has the high-end HX CPU, a QHD Plus display that's an OLED, a 32 gig RAM, and a 5070 Ti for $1499. It's just a great portable all-around package for the money. And then the Zephyrus G14 is just like the best 14-inch laptop, and this is the best configuration of that for $500 off. So it just seems like or like $400 off maybe. It just seems like the best all-around combo right now between all of these different laptops. And so I'm looking forward to the more Black Friday sales coming up. You know, these sales are going to shift around, and we may see even some better sales, but I think like these ones are probably the best deal we're going to see on these top 5 laptops. And probably the S tier laptops are also pretty much the best deal we'll see on all of those ones as well. Now, Best Buy and many other stores, they do offer like a price match right now for like if the price drops below the current sales price, you can get a price match to it. And the return policy from Best Buy is super generous. It's like until January 15th, I think, or sometime in January. So you can double check the return policy for Best Buy, but basically you can buy it now and you can wait to see what comes out at CES, which should come out, all that stuff should be announced around January 5th and 6th. And then you can see, do I want to keep this long term or should I return it? So like if I could make any recommendations, it would be buy the best deals that we have currently from Best Buy or maybe from Lenovo. Lenovo also has a long return policy, but I don't think it's quite all the way to January 1st. Yeah, but the Lenovo deal with the X3D chip, I don't think you're going to see a better deal than that coming up if you're after performance and esports. And in terms of whether I recommend buying now or waiting, I've talked to different vendors. There's no new GPUs coming out, so I do recommend buying now. The new GPUs will probably come out next year or the year after with the 6000 series, depending on what NVIDIA does. Currently, the VRAM and RAM storage shortage because of AI processing centers. They're sucking up all those chips, and that's really just hurting inventory. And that's going to drive prices, I think, of laptops up in 2026 because the shortage is predicted to last longer than a year. So I think now is probably going to be the best time to buy a laptop for at least a year and like 3 or 4 months, because you basically, I think you buy now or you're going to be forced to wait until the RTX 6000 series comes out, probably in 2026. And that'll probably be like March or April when you can actually buy something, and maybe even June before you can get like a mid-tier. So like right now is perfect. You can save money and you can kind of slide in before the giant price hike from all of the shortages from the VRAM and SDRAM. And like when I was talking to laptop vendors at an event here in Thailand, they were saying that certain AI projects have basically bought up like $200 billion worth of RAM sticks to run these data centers. And that's like the whole order for almost the next year or longer. And they're like, how do I even order one now? Like, I can't. Like, so they're like, they don't know how they're gonna even service or get parts. I'm sure big manufacturers like Lenovo and Asus have already got their orders in, so they probably have some security on that front. But yeah, I do think it's gonna impact laptop pricing in the coming year. And it's not something that's gonna be short term. It's gonna take a while for them to ramp production up to match demand. So I think now is a phenomenal time to buy, and especially with some of these top deals. So let me check chat. Okay. All right, G14, G16 is also good. Lucky enough to compete with Apple laptops, that's true. Damn, SS tier, must buy laptop. Would like to know Asus ROG Strix G18 5070 Ti Intel version. Yeah, so I do have that on the list somewhere. We can pull that up. And I can give you my thoughts on that. I do think that's a phenomenal value laptop in general. All right, so the current price for a Strix G18 with a 5080 is currently $3,000. Is there a 5070 Ti version? I don't see a 5070 Ti version. This, this is a pretty good version right here. Actually, let me just pull this up. So $1799 for the Dragon Range 9955HX. No HX3D. The X3D is only in the 16-inch chassis. Great screen, great all-around build quality. The main issue here is it's not a 5070 Ti. So great value overall still. And one I can definitely recommend. I would recommend the AMD chip over the Intel chip. But the Intel chip, Intel chips being higher priced is kind of the main drawback here. If Intel was the same, then it could be a toss-up. But if it's more, then I definitely would say go with the AMD. Now the Intel does have the new redesign though. So, well, I guess maybe it is worth paying a little bit more for the toolless bottom and the 360-degree RGB. That's gonna be up to you. But in terms of performance, the 9955HX 3D does outperform the Intel. So if it's the same price and you're after performance, go for the AMD chip, in my opinion. And there's definitely some decent value here for an 18-inch chassis at $1,800 for a 5070. I don't know if we'll see a better sale on that or not. Gotta monitor that, and we'll see if we get some better sales. But for now, I think that's probably the one I would go with, like the 9955HX, either 5060 or 5070. 5070, if it's the same price, then this is obviously a lot better, especially if it's 32 gigs. Okay, let me check chat again. Oh, let me show you here. This is the price specs that I'm talking about, sorry. This is the model that I would probably recommend. So right here. And it's the last gen version, but it's an excellent chassis still. And sadly, there's no X3D, only X3D in the 16-inch chassis. All right, let me check chat. Are you aware if the US bought laptops get international warranty service, such as in India? Okay, sorry, so for certain companies, yes, they do. And for certain countries, yes, it does count. But generally speaking, I believe they try to prioritize, like if you buy it in Thailand, you should generally have Thailand service centers as the priority, and then you don't get as much, service through to the other countries. But if you buy it in the United States, oftentimes you get more international warranty service to other countries. But I'm not sure. You need to read the actual terms, and because it may vary from laptop to laptop, and from vendor to vendor. Even like when you buy in the United States now, Asus is pairing with Best Buy to to handle the warranty service. And so I don't know how that's going to work if you're in India. Is the Scar 18 2025 speakers immersive for gaming and watching movies? Coming from the Acer Predator Helios Neo 16 4050. I think they're going to be in a similar ballpark to the Neo 16, maybe a little better. The Zephyrus G16 has much better speakers than the Scar 18 series, which makes absolutely no sense. It costs more usually for the Scar, and it has worse speakers. It's just a low priority on the Scar series, which is very dumb. The white 5090 Zephyrus G16, 64 gig RAM, refuses to go on sale even on Black Friday. Hopefully it does go on sale. Yeah, it might. You just got to be patient. All right, honey buns. Okay, so, all right, so I think I answered your question there, honey buns, hopefully. The RTX 6090 mobile with 32 gig VRAM would be nice. That's true. That would be very good. In the future, I don't know if they'll actually do that. They'll probably honestly stick to 24. I think 24 is going to be a sweet spot for laptops for a little while. Okay. So do Rocky and Sky get along now? Yeah, they love getting along, and they hang out all the time. They play all day. All right. So that's it for this live stream, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I think it was a great breakdown of the current deals. And like I said, I'll try to give you another updated tier list in a few days. So here's our top SS tier, and yeah, there you go. So, oh, and there is an F tier right here. One F tier. I tried to get rid of all the F tiers. Didn't even try to include anything that wouldn't be considered at least C tier or higher, generally speaking. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next one. Brandon, out.